Hey everybody, this is Steve Polkowski. I'm one of your two lead contract negotiators, myself and Heather Young. And the purpose for the video is to get everybody kind of up to speed on where everything is in terms of our contract. I'm going to try to get through this video as quick as I can, but give as much detail as I can, all in one fell swoop. So if there's mistakes in here, I apologize. But we're going to try to do this all in one shot. So the purpose of the video is to get everybody updated on where we stand on some of the agreed upon proposals, some of the pending proposals, the big ticket items, and then what's coming next for our contract negotiations. So after this video or this presentation, if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, feel free to reach out to your building rep or myself, and I'll be glad to answer questions or points of clarifications or input or whatever you guys need. So my email address is right there, so feel free to reach out if you guys need anything. So all right, so first thing we're going to cover is the general agreed upon items. Again, these are tentative agreements, which means they can still be taken off the table or adjusted depending on how things go. So, but at the moment, these things have been agreed upon by both us and the district. These are the ones that we brought forward. So in terms of the tentative agreement, I think feels like it was way back in June, we proposed the CTE language change, which was agreed upon, which was that the CTE teachers that are asked to take additional courses to like offer things like the CDL training. So, you know, we're covering Gunderson, Wick, and Rhodes in this area, that their language mirrors what the CITS teachers mirror in terms of reimbursement for classes and lane changes and the like. So that one got agreed to a long time ago. Longevity pay has also been agreed to, which is an increase of $150 to every previous I guess you call them steps or year allotment, and we were able to add in years 11 to 15. So previously our longevity pay starts at year 16, which meant that after year 10 the only increase in your salary was whatever we negotiate as a bargaining unit. So this gets longevity pay added 5 years earlier to those teachers that are getting into those middle years. So longevity pay $400 for years 11 to 15, and everybody else gets $150 added to what their current amount is. 403B increase agreement. We know that there are some teachers that are getting close to the threshold of what the district was willing to put in for 403B contributions. So we were able to up that $5,000, so that way we're back into the clear for a while for the district's match over the career of a teacher, and then each level also got a $250 increase in terms of a yearly match by the district. So 403B amounts are going up, and then that total district match also is increased. So that's a positive. The MOU continuations is, I think, kind of standard. The distance learning and definition of a classroom coming out of COVID had an expiration date. That one is going to expire. And then the peer review, school psych date changes, sick leave incentive, and ADSYS flex are all agreed upon. It's basically continuation of MOUs that I guess have been in place and are there and are continuing into the future. So in terms of special ed caseload and class size limits, it's strongly suggested that we address those things in contract negotiations. And for us, it was simply agreeing that those things will be part of the exec board discussions. At the moment, special ed caseloads is a little bit high, but still underneath the suggested amount. Same thing with class size limits. So we're not doing it in a separate group or committee or anything like that, but we're going to make sure it's discussed and brought up if things are going astray there. So those are the agreed upon items at the moment from our end. From the district's perspective, there's two things that they proposed to us that have been accepted. The first one being chaperone pay, which was approved, so it's an increase to $100. That's just kind of is what it is. We no reason to say no to that because it's an increase on chaperone pay. And then 403B language, a teacher's going to start getting the contribution after 30 days of employment. basically there's a situation where the district would start to put into the 403B, and if they left in that within that 30 days, it's a pain to get the money out. So essentially what we did is we just made it a paperwork, processing time for 403B, just to make sure that we don't have any, that the district doesn't have to go through any hoops to get the money back out. So it's not impacting the amount of money that would go in. It's just a 30-day waiting period to start the contribution. So the pending items, kind of the smaller fringe pieces, I would say, that are still being discussed, is the community engagement proposal, which was giving elementary, middle school, and CAPE teachers the ability to earn an additional personal day that could be used on the teacher observing teachers dates or the end of the school year, for in-service days, where you would be able to go to sporting events, plays, basically any sort of school-sponsored event, and if you got up to 750, 7.5 hours, you would get that additional day. For the high school, it would be mandatory. For middle school, elementary school, and CAPE, it is optional. High school would be a mandatory community engagement piece, as the high school would lose 2 of the conference days since we've switched to semesters instead of quarters. So a little bit kind of both, or everybody in the group would benefit in a different way, but it all would fall under community engagement. So again, elementary, middle, and CAPE would have the option to do it, not mandatory. High school would be mandatory. And then anything that wasn't done at the high school level before May 1st, you'd be assigned to graduation, all-night grad party, prom, or other things like that. In terms of the district items that are still pending and we're going through, originally the district wanted a failure to get, well, let me take a step back. In our contract, failure to give notice is a $200 penalty for basically anybody that quits mid-year. I think that's more of an issue down in the city. It sounds like we have it happen to us maybe once a year. So currently the penalty to break contract is $250. The district's original proposal was $2,500 for quitting mid-year. That we said absolutely not to, because that's a huge chunk of money for our contracts, especially if you're a younger teacher. The district then came back with a proposal of $1,500 in terms of the penalty for quitting mid-year. We declined that as well, and then the counter proposal that we gave to them is 1%. So it's based on where you are, steps and lanes, so it's equal across the playing field for the employees, where the $2,500 and $1,500, depending on where you are in your career, could hurt more or less than other employees. So that one is out there at the moment, and again, all of these are in the district's court. So that's where that one is sitting at the moment. All right, the big ticket items that are still in the room. Part of the problem in trying to get these big ticket items hashed out, in my opinion, is that there was a delay in the discretionary leave conversation from the district end, which meant a bunch of the proposals came back to us, but that one didn't. And so that discretionary leave, sick leave payout piece has kind of been flip-flopping back and forth, opposite of everything else. So now everything's back on the district side with the proposals last night, going back to them. So now everything is on their court, or in their court. So we hopefully will get a positive offer from them on both discretionary and sick leave payout and salary increase. So the discretionary portion that we were originally going for got declined. It was basically too big of an adjustment to do all at once. So basically what we did is we kind of took parts of the discretionary idea and moved them around. So originally it was 15 discretionary days from our sick, personal, and emergency. So down from 18 to 15. So the district said no to that. So our counter proposal was a reduction of sick days by 2, a reduction of emergency days by 1, and an increase of personal days by 5. So that is the proposal that is sitting in the district's court right now. So the benefit of that is obviously we would have more personal days. Those payouts are in full if you don't use them at the end of the year. And then we also have in there that there's a payout of unused sick days after an accrual of 123.5 at 2/3 of subpay or $100 per day, whichever is greater. So now all of a sudden we've got incentive for or there's value to our sick days versus just having them bank up to infinity or go away. In addition, part of that proposal is at retirement, those unused sick days that are in your own personal bank, theoretically 123.5 days, would get paid out at 2/3 subpay or $100, whichever is greater. So that's kind of a big ticket item, especially for the people that have larger individual banks, but regardless, everybody's getting a benefit from it because now all of a sudden your sick days are worth something monetarily. So that one right there is sitting in the district court, as is the salary increase, which is sitting in their court as well, pending their response. So our original proposal, if we go back, was $8,000 across the boards on all steps and lanes in year one, and then year two was 8% across all steps and lanes. The district's counter proposal was year one, 2,500 across all steps and lanes, and year two, 2% across all steps and lanes. That's obviously not going to fly. We know that, and I think they know that as well. The counter proposal on our end is in year one a $7,000 raise across all steps and lanes, and then in year two 6% across all steps and lanes. Based on Doc Carey's reaction last night, we can anticipate this being declined, but I think having both of these ticket items, being proposed from the same side should help us get more close on these numbers and these ideas, because having them separated makes it very difficult to negotiate because of what's attached to both. So that's where the two big ticket items are sitting currently. So in the closing remarks, we were asked last night, do we start thinking about picketing because mediation and arbitration was brought up from their end? I don't think we're there yet. I guess I'm an optimist, and hopefully things are going to pick up and get better. But I don't think we're at that point yet. We'll have to see how this next round goes on Tuesday. But I'm hoping that Dr. Carey and the board's counter proposal will get us more actively working towards a resolution on this. So for those people that heard that and were like, oh my gosh, I think we can calm for just a second, but if there's not a positive gain, then we might have to start having those conversations. But at the moment, I think we can all calm down on the picketing plan. In terms of the next meeting is Tuesday, December 5th at 4 o'clock in the boardroom. Highlighted, underlined, bolded, packed the boardroom. It is great to see as many people come to these as have been coming. We really appreciate the support. And I would anticipate, for those that are getting a little squirrely, I would anticipate this meeting to be one where the most movement happens now that the big items are together. It's also nice too that last night we had a board meeting following us, so we were constricted on time. This next one we try to keep it to an hour and a half, but having nothing after it, I feel like there's at least time for us to pause, meet, come back, pause, meet, and come back if we need to. So hopefully there's a lot more movement going on back and forth between the two sides on Tuesday. So if you can make it, we would love to see everybody there. Appreciate everybody's support, and we will see you next week, hopefully with some positive gains. Have a good one.